Hey, welcome back. It's TJ in the afternoon on Classic Hits, Gem 98.7. Honored to have a special guest with us on the phone, a fellow fan of fast cars and heavy metal, singer, songwriter, actor, author, and also the lead singer for multi-platinum band Ratt. By the way, taking the Budweiser Summer Stage at Tags and Big Flats coming up this Saturday. Part of the In Your Direction tour, the one and only Mr. Stephen Pearcy. Stephen, how are you, man?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. Even better now that we got you on the phone. It's my honor to have you on the show, first of all. And I got to tell you, man, we are super excited to have you and the rest of the gang from Ratt here in our own backyard this Saturday night, along with Warrant, Firehouse, and Kix. You guys have been on the road for a couple of months now with the tour.
Yeah, we've been out since late last year, just trying to get my footing after the knee surgeries, and so far so good.
Well, I was just going to say, because I was on your website earlier, and I didn't even realize you had knee surgery until just about an hour or so ago. So, knees still holding up all right? Not holding you back at all?
Yeah, we've been taking it easy since I had the surgeries done. So when we went out in November, December, we're just kind of actually took baby steps, and that's what that's why we're doing the touring and stuff the way we are this year. Next year's pretty much going to be the Rat Attack year.
Okay, when you're back in full effect.
Yeah, new music, more shows, worldwide, and taking care of business.
Then there is some new music in the works then.
Yes, there is. We're going to do something, get started, release a couple songs. We don't know how we're going to approach this format. If we get started on a few songs, making a full record's very easy.
Because I know you've been working on some solo material, just had View to a Thrill that came out tail end of last year. So I knew you've been writing some stuff, but I didn't know if Ratt was going to be coming out with some new goodies.
Yeah, we've been talking about it since, for about a little over a year, and now it's actually, taking place, riding up a storm and collectively, separately, and we'll see what we get here in the next couple months.
Very good, man. Thinking about that as a quick segue and maybe a quick diversion, I have to congratulate you guys on the 35th anniversary of Out of the Cellar.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's a big plus. Yeah,
I say 3 times platinum, not too shabby.
No, it's done a lot more than that. That was triple platinum back in '85, I believe. You couldn't get the right numbers then, so I don't think you'll get them right now.
So let me ask you this then, thinking about Out of the Cellar, with that being such a huge record for you guys, did you know that was going to be as big as it was at the time?
No, we just wanted an album to go aluminum, anything. We didn't really care.
Somebody play our music somewhere.
Yeah, we just wanted a record out. And the fact that we get our masters back starting next year is even a bigger reward. So it's all good.
Well, and I'll tell you what, and that's huge. I know there's some other artists right now trying to get their hands on their masters, and that's been a big thing, especially with, they had the big studio fires out there in California, and, a lot of people lost a lot of those masters.
Yeah. Well, it takes time, actually. It's a big system. They try to keep it as long as they can, but there's new laws and stipulations now, so we're lucky.
All right. Well, thinking about some of the older records, kind of going somewhat back to the beginning, you had kind of an interesting start of the way you even just picked up a guitar for the first time as I was reading your bio.
Yeah. I wanted to race cars. I didn't want to play guitar or sing, let alone yell at anybody. But yeah, that's what happened. I was put in a situation for my book, and
sure.
And somebody gave me a guitar, and I learned how to play. And next thing I know, I'm writing songs and starting a band, and that's rest is history.
So thinking about that, as the years progressed from that time, what was kind of that turning point in your career where things kind of clicked, and it was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to make a living out of this, and we're going to shoot for the stars, man.
That happened in 1978 when I went and saw Van Halen at the Whiskey. I think they had just gotten signed, and I said, there's something new happening, and I want to be a part of it.
Awesome. So now, have you ever gotten a chance to, if Van Halen was kind of an inspiration for you, have you gotten a chance to play with the guys in Van Halen?
Matter of fact, we did our first festival with them a few years back. and it was brilliant, of course.
Now, did it ever come up that, like, you were the part of the guys and part of the reason that I got involved in music in the first place?
Yeah, they knew that. I was more of a guitar player, back then. So when I met Ed, it was all about guitars and amps and stuff. And then I decided, well, somebody has to sing, so I'll do both. I'll pull a Paul Stanley on you or an Eric Bloom.
There you go. Somebody's got to do it. I guess it's going to have to be me.
Yeah, it's a dirty job too.
So thinking about playing with these other bands, I'm sure you guys have been all over the country, all over the world, playing with all these different groups. Is there a particular favorite band that you've either toured with or done, festivals with? Anybody that kind of sticks out in your head?
Sure. Doing festivals with like Iron Maiden and Aerosmith. We did a festival with, of course, Van Halen, and there's too many shows. Even the few shows we got to do with Motley back in the early days. And then me jamming with Rob Halford and jamming with some people, Blue Oyster Cult. I mean, that's very rewarding for me.
That's awesome. So thinking about that, on the flip side of the coin, any bands that maybe were the worst to play with, you just didn't click with, you just didn't like them as people?
None of that really bothered us. We didn't really care. We weren't in competition with anybody. We were in competition with ourselves and looked up to like the Stones and Zeppelin and Priest and all these people who hung around for years and years. That's all we wanted to do. We could give a what anybody else is doing.
I like your style. So now let me ask you this. When you guys are getting ready to play a show, do you or any of the guys have any particular like pre-show ritual that you do?
Maybe smoke a cigarette, crack a bunch of jokes, and laugh and make out with my chick. That's about it.
Hey man, that's as good a pre-show ritual as any.
That happens all day.
So I want to touch real quick on the book, Sex, Drugs, Rat and Roll, that came out a number of years ago. Kind of a tell-all of sorts, kind of giving a behind the story and talking about basically the highs and the lows of the rock and roll business.
Well, yeah, it's the good, bad, and the ugly, and it wasn't therapy. It was just kind of like, if I have an opportunity to tell a story, I might as well be as honest as possible.
Yeah.
And maybe it could help somebody get through their bullshit, which happens. I've had lots and lots of people come up and talk to me about the book and situations that were relevant. And so, look, we're all the same. It doesn't matter who you are, what you got, where you've been. We're all humanoid.
Oh, absolutely. In my travels and just reading some stuff, get ready for the interview here this afternoon, it sounded like you have another book maybe in the works.
I would like to, yeah. It'll be a lot different. There'll be some, rat tails in there, so to speak, but it's going to be pretty much about the family tree since day one. And what I mean that, musicians who have come and gone and who they are, and more about music, and I'll throw in a bunch of original lyrics and that were changed, and photos, personal photos. I'm just going to make it a little bit more, not so serious, more tongue-in-cheek.
Okay. All right. And again, for everybody, we're talking with Stephen Pearcy, the frontman for Ratt, of course, taking the Budweiser Summer Stage at Tags and Big Flats this weekend, part of the In Your Direction tour. Stephen, a couple more questions for you, man.
Yeah.
What's one story from throughout your career that you just love to tell? Could be anything.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a couple, actually. It's when we did the first EP, for a nickel and a dime. Robin and I were driving around Hollywood, obviously, late, coming back to Rat Mansion West, and we heard You Think You're Tough on KLOS and KMET, were the hot radio stations in the early 80s, and we were quite ecstatic, and that we were being played, so that was very memorable. And the second one would be headlining of gigs like the Forum or or San Diego Sports Arena or Meadowlands, any of these huge festivals and arenas. Once we started headlining, it was way cool. But one particular is when we headlined Madison Square Gardens, and in that Led Zeppelin movie where they're in the limo and they're going around the circle out of the venue.
Yeah.
Well, Robin and I again together, partner in crime, were going up that turnstile. And we kind of made a joke about the song remains the same,
Yeah.
Said, hey, it's kind of like Led Zeppelin, but not really.
Right.
But at least we were headlining this. We were headlining the Garden, and that was a way cool event.
I'm sure that was wild. I've talked to throughout my career. I've talked to a few bands that have played the Garden. What an experience that is, especially the first time you're there.
Yeah, it's quite overwhelming, outdoors, 80,000 people is one thing, but playing a big old iconic building like that is another.
And one final question for you, Stephen, and again, man, I appreciate your time here with us this afternoon. What is one question that you wished folks who talk to you ask, but don't?
About guitar playing and guitars and stuff, because I'm a guitar player first, and I write a lot of our music, or co-write, and that's what I do. And people don't they think I just yell at you, and I don't. Well, I do yell at you, but I play songs and write songs and then I yell at you.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, as a drummer myself, I'm probably not going to have a whole lot of guitar questions for you, but
that's all right. I can play drums.
I just wanted to make a bunch of noise and bang on things and beat out some anger.
There you go. When we're done, you go do a couple paradiddles, and we'll get back to me.
There we go. Will do, man. Again, for everybody, thank you so much for listening to us. And Stephen, we appreciate you joining us here this afternoon. So listen to some classic stuff, maybe some of even the new stuff. You guys going to be unleashing some new stuff on the crowd this weekend?
No, it's not that new yet. We're still riding up a storm. We'll see what happens. But if you want to see where we're at, where we're playing, what we're doing, a lot going on for next year. We're already preparing for next year. And go to the website, theratpack.com, or official StephenPearcy.com, and check us out.
All right, well, awesome. Well, Stephen, again, thank you guys so much. Again, Stephen, lead singer for the band Ratt. They're taking the stage this weekend. Ratt, Warrant, Firehouse and Kix live on the Budweiser Summer Stage at Tags. You can grab your tickets right now at Tags Route 352 in Big Flats, by phone at 1-800-650-TAGS. You can even take your chances, maybe some walk-up tickets the day of the show. That's given that we don't sell out, which very well may happen.
Mm-hmm. Everybody better get down there. Big party. Big party.
Well, that was going to be my one final thing. Any final words to get everybody pumped up for the show this weekend?
Prepare. Be prepared like a good Boy Scout and Girl Scout.
And come
be
out,
prepared.
Come out and be prepared. Get ready to rock, Stephen. We appreciate it, man. Thank you guys so much. Best of luck to this weekend. It's going to be an amazing show. We encourage everybody listening to come out and join the party, man.
Thank you very much, brother.
You got it, man. Hey, the pleasure is all mine. More music for you next year, as we're always flashing back to the best in music. The 80s, 90s, and beyond are alive and well. Gem 98.7. Stick with me.